So I got a question. So lately on my YouTube, because of what's happening with George Floyd, a lot of the suggested or like recommended videos are of like either dash cam footage or like um bystander videos, or even the the body cam. So I'm watching this one video of an incident that of an incident that happened in like 2016. Mind you, the video is like an hour and 43 minutes long. But it started off really nice. Like the guy, he was at first and foremost, from the camera on the police cruiser, you can tell that he was following him. Now he said that he said that he pulled him over because he was speeding when entering the highway. So, are you supposed to slow down? Are you supposed to continue going the same mileage you were going? Because if I'm not mistaken, the speed limit on the freeway is between about 50, maybe about 55 to 70 miles per hour max. I've never seen any freeway over 70 miles per hour, even for the big trucks. So if this man on camera said, I clocked you at doing 69, and I pulled you over because you just kind of like zoomed off into the interstate. Now, I've been driving for quite some time now, and if I'm not now I know the driving rules are different for everybody, but if I'm not mistaken, sorry, where was I? Had to go get me something to drink. So I know and I understand that driving rules are very different for every state, and it does vary. But this video, like, it's just not, it's not sitting right with me. And that's just describing it from the very beginning. Mind you, all of this footage is being captured on the dash cam of the freaking police car. So he pulls the guy over. He goes up to the car. So I guess it's only, okay, so this video is clearly gonna be really choppy, but I am not at the space right now where I'm doing like really in-depth and like amazing YouTube videos. I'm just using this platform to somewhat vent. But okay, so back to the video. So yeah, like in the beginning, mind you, once again, this whole dash cam footage was like an hour and 43 minutes long. So they were in this encounter for a while. Now I paused it at about an hour and 14 minutes. So at this time in the video, the ambulance have arrived. So let me rewind. So he pulls the man over, and he's like, can I get your license and vehicle registration? So he gives him 2 licenses. He has one for New York, and he has one for North Carolina. So it was for like New York and North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. I might have to rewind the the video back. I was just so in like disbelief. Like, I can't believe that he's doing, like, he was so friendly to him. Okay, so he pulled him over. He took his ID. He had a New York ID, and then he had like a North Carolina ID. He said that he is a real estate agent. People contact him so he can come in and buy foreclosed homes or abandoned homes, fix them up, and resell them. He said this to him. So, and then the officer was like, so do you got it? He was like, so what's with this expired ID? Do you live in North Carolina? He was like, I'm back and forth. So I have an ID for North Carolina, which is expired, but I keep it so that I would have some type of ID on hand, which is smart. Like, I've always been told from my elders that at the very least, have your school ID, even if it's old. Have your school ID, something with the photocopy of your face and your name. Oh my god, this video is gonna be so choppy because I had to attend to Princess Naya. So, okay. I don't even remember where I was at. So he gives them the two IDs. Boom. He like, okay, well, this one is expired. Why do you have this one? He like, well, I just keep it just so I can have a photo ID of myself. But I'm basically like, I'm a dual resident or whatever. I have properties down here, so I stay down here like 6 months out of the year, and then I have properties up there, and I stay up there like 6 months out of the year. Boom, boom. So he asked him, he was like, can I get your vehicle registration? He was like, this is a rental, but here's my insurance for the vehicle, because it is a rental. So he like, okay, he look at the stuff. He like, okay, can you step out for a second? And he like, is there anything wrong? He was like, no, I just want to, no, I'm sorry. So after he looked at that stuff, mind you, he didn't even take it back to his car to check and make sure it was valid or anything. He was just like, do you have any drugs or anything on you? And he was like, no, I don't have anything on me. And then the officer was like, his name is Officer Michael Blake. Well, he's a state trooper. And so he like, well, do you mind stepping out for me? And so the dude was like, okay, I'll step out. And then he was like, I'm not gonna arrest you, but I wanna see if you wouldn't mind walking over to my car right here, because it's very dangerous right here where we pulled over there. So why the fuck you pull me over right here? Anyway, so he was like, oh yeah, it's very dangerous. That's the spiel to get him to fucking be willing to basically, anyway. So he like, okay, well, can you sit, in my trooper car until I'm gonna go ahead and I'll check your car. So he gets in the black guy gets in the trooper car, mind you, black guy, white state trooper. Be careful, babe. Black guy driving red Toyota, white state trooper. So he willingly like gets in his car, like he doesn't put up a struggle. And then the state trooper was like, go ahead and sit in the front seat, while I run your stuff. So he's sitting in the front seat. He's starting to have a little small talk or whatever with him. I mean, if like I know, that's a ploy to try to get your guard down so you can slip up and say something, but you shouldn't say anything, whether you are guilty or innocent. You have all right to say. Mommy, I want some. Okay, that's Honey. Actually, 1 second. Let me go get her a snack. Goodness, I don't even know how long I've been recording this video, but I'm only like 10 minutes in on the fucking video. But I had to make sure my baby had what she needed. So yeah, he gets in the car. They start having a little small talk. He gets to looking up his stuff or whatever. And then he's like, I'm going to ask your permission. No, so he starts writing out the ticket or whatever. And then as he's handing him the clipboard to sign the ticket, he like, do I have permission to search for drugs on your vehicle? The man said, well, I'm not going to sign that ticket. But just to prove to you that I don't have anything, I'll let you search my rental. So he legit searched his rental for. So mind you, 2 officers, another police car pulled up, and he talking to him over there, while the other police is searching through the car. So you know how they do, trying to distract you with one talking to you right here, and then the other one looking through your car. But mind you, he spent about 20 minutes in the front passenger seat. Like, I legit watched the time clock. 20 minutes in the front passenger seat. And then the other officer that was watching him kept saying, oh, we're waiting on the dog to get here. So they could just check. You know, they just want to check. So 20 minutes go by. He looking all through the front passenger seat. I'm assuming he's looking on the driver's side too, because he never really walked around to the driver's side. He only looked in the passenger side. So then he leaves the door up. Then he goes to the back seat. He go look in the back seat. Boom, boom, boom. Then he never closes the back seat door. Boom. Because in my eyes, you will want the camera to see everything that you're doing. Because the crazy part is that they know they have on these body cameras. They know they have dash cameras in their car, but they continue to do these things. And then it's always like, oh, it's apology. Like, I understand being like a firefighter and a policeman and like an EMT is like a thankless job. I completely get it. I understand. I get it. Because I wanted to go to school for EMT as well. But I realized that I do not have the stomach for it. Just like when I went to college and I majored in social work. Unfortunately, I am too emotional and I do not have the stomach for it. So I changed my major. Now I'm actually in a field that is comparable to my major. Like that big word. I hate when people try to make it seem like I'm stupid or something. Communications was my major. Literature or reading, I guess in my school they called it literature. English literature was my minor. Honey, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm very educated. I'm very smart. I'm very witty. I know exactly what I'm saying. And if I don't know exactly what I'm saying, trust and believe, I do the research to make sure the next time anything like that spews out of my mouth, I know exactly what I'm saying and that I'm right in what I'm saying. Case in point, nice example. Enunciate is a word. Enunciate is what they call like a subsidiary. I might be saying that wrong, but like a subsidiary of pronunciate. So to pronunciate a word is very different than enunciating a word, which is also a word. For those who that goes towards, you know exactly who you are. Honey, I know when I speak very intelligently, unless, but that's the Gemini in me, unless I want you to think I'm just stingy and like airheaded, and I'm very smart. Never get it twisted. That was a sidebar. Anyway, so He's searching. The police, he goes in his trunk, looking all through his trunk, lifting up shit. Mind you, this man said, I will give you permission to only look. I do not consent with you going through my things. Which pretty much means anything that is enclosed in that car would be his personal archives and his personal items. Am I right? Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong. But I think I may be right. I don't know. I have lately been watching a lot of traffic enforcement law documentaries and videos, and then I've also been watching a lot of basically like videos that hold police officers accountable for the things that they do, because they are emotional creatures as well. They could have been having a bad day prior to approaching you, and that the attitude that you are exuding is just throwing them off their equilibrium, throwing them off their balance. And now, because they have that badge and that gun, they want to show you, like, you're not going to throw me off of my balance. I'll throw you off of yours. So I've been watching a lot of videos like that. And yes, there is very good cops. Yes, I know them. I've met them. Like, I've had police officers pull me over and legit just give me a warning. I have people I went to high school with that have winded up pulling me over and have just given me a warning. Thank you, God. I would hope that all the good karma that I have done in the world would at least give me that. But that's a whole nother story. And that probably wasn't even like smart to say. But that's honestly how I feel. Like, now that I'm older, I go about things in a totally different way, because I do realize that karma is real and every action has a consequence. Every action has a reaction, and unfortunately, it may not always go in your favor. And when it does not go in your favor, you have to, as an adult or as a Black person in America, you have to think like 10 steps ahead. So like, if they're gonna do this, I need to have X, Y, and Z lined up, so they can't blame this on me or say this and this, that, and third. Thank God they start making them wear their body cameras. But even when they wear their body cameras, they can turn it off. They can mute their mics. And from my understanding, they're not supposed to do that. And then if you mute your mic and you cut your camera off, what's the point of you having the body cam on? For you to cut it off where you're doing some shit you know you're not supposed to do, and then cut it back on when the ambulance and the fire department and your chief of staff is there. Like, come on. Because my next question is, well, why did you cut your body camera off? So you tell me no officer that was involved in this had their body camera on? Just like in this video. This was literally shot from last year. So why doesn't any of these officers that are involved in this altercation have on their body cam, and we solely have to rely on this officer's police dash cam? So he go out through the trunk or whatever, don't find anything. The dog finally comes, the drug sniffing dog. The drug sniffing dog goes all through the car. They pointing at the tires, they pointing at every corner, up under the bumper, da. Dog doesn't do anything, doesn't react the way it normally reacts. If it indicates or if it finds any smear of narcotics, anything, it could be shake on the ground because it fell out the blunt when they was rolling it, and the dog had picked that up. Like, come on. The dog did not find anything. But for some reason, after the dog didn't find anything, another officer comes up and searches the car. After he searches the car, the original officer, which is a state trooper, Michael Blake, he comes back to the passenger side of the cop car and asks the man to get out of the car. At this point, mind you, the man was already scary from the point that he put him in the police car. He was already scary. He was asking him if he could have his phone just so he can record for his safety. And the officer kept saying, well, I'll give you your phone, but I just want to make sure you're not calling any of your homeboys to come and attack us, because a lot of crazy things happen outside. Fool, I just told you, I'm a freaking real estate investor that don't even live here. And I'm actually down here visiting family and looking at properties that I might invest in. Why the pluck would I ruin my reputation and my business messing around with some foolishness like that? Is it because I'm black? And they hate when you say that. But is it? Is it because I'm black? Because I stay in an all black neighborhood. Anytime I see a white person, I know they a crackhead or a state inspector. Even the police that come over here don't be white. So, whenever there's a white, whenever there's a white person in our neighborhood, that's pretty much the case. And I've actually lived here for about 3 or 4 years now, and we probably had like 2 white tenants in our entire property, and both of those were drug addicts. But it kind of just like, it kind of blows my mind that, is it sad to say that it happens so much? At some point you kind of get numb to it. But what I really think is pissing them off now is that when we see an injustice, and when I say we as black people, because despite how bright I look and how long my nose is, both of my parents are black. And you couldn't tell them they weren't black by looking at them. I'm just bright. I'm anemic. I get very pale in the wintertime, and I get super tan in the summertime. I'm just bright. I got freckles all over my body. I'm just bright. Varicose veins in my chest. I'm just bright. So, it's been many a times where, especially when I have my hair done up, now I'm going natural. So now when they look at me, they look at me in a different way. Like, but before, when I used to wear my hair processed and really straight, they were like, "Oh, are you Spanish? Are you Italian? Why are you asking me that? Like, you pulling me over? Why? Tell me why you're pulling me over." But you're asking me, "Oh, are you Spanish? Are you Hispanic? Are you Italian?" Bitch, no. I'm black. You can't tell by my lips. You can't tell by my nose. You can't tell by my hair. I'm black. But this video was really just supposed to be about this ABC 11 clip that I'm watching, and I kind of just went on like a rampage with my emotions, because, and I wanted to start filming myself when I watch this, because my commentary, I just really be wanting to know like why. And then, you know, another thing that kind of like grinds my gears is that the place that we are in this country, unfortunately, some of these officers, they're gonna have to, not saying they're gonna have to, but at some point a line has to be drawn. At the end of the day, when you take that uniform off, you are a black man. I even seen a video of a black officer in his uniform being harassed by a white woman driving in a parking lot. Like, how do you have the balls and the gall to harass a police officer in a apartment parking structure parking lot? Like, how do you, he still have a